I do get a lot of comments on my videos of people saying like, thank you for like actually showing what you ate today. Because you could see a lot of people like, oh, I ate this and I ate this. And then they're like, trash, I actually ate this. A lot of my content, I actually like show, I had hot Cheetos today, guys. I eat those a lot. Like they're part of my diet, things like that. So I think the impact I want to leave, even with my clients, like when they come in and they're like, I had this to eat. I'm like, it's okay. Like that's normal. You're human. I eat that too. Like the normalcy of life and not all of the stuff that you see on social media. Yes, it's pretty, it's nice, and we like to see it. That's why people follow like all the organization and the nice, pretty things. But it's okay to be normal, like normalcy.
Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the More Than the Numbers podcast. This is a show where we'll dive into the stories of people overcoming financial insecurity, showing the different paths that people take to become wealthy, and overall just how to live a more purposeful life. So if you enjoyed listening to the show, please show some support. Give us a 5-star review and leave a comment of your favorite part of the pod. Also, please share it to anyone that you know that feels stuck and that needs some uplifting or needs some help to get their finances in order. We're really just trying to help as many people as we can with these stories. God bless all of you, and just enjoy the show. All right, so today on the More Than the Numbers podcast, we've introduced one of the most prominent fitness trainers in Hacienda Heights. Analise Jimenez has ran her successful personal training business for about 6 years now, named Train with Analise. She's impacted the lives of hundreds, maybe thousands of women become the best version of themselves through fitness. So she's actually one of the few trainers who actually has her degree in kinesiology that she got at Cal State Fullerton. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting Analise there at Cal State Fullerton. And I just want to acknowledge that you've come so far from that day when we first met that and I've been following your social media since then, and to see your account growing and seeing the gym you guys moving to the house just is very inspiring, and that's why I had to bring you on, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, thank you so much. But yes, met you at Cal State Fullerton, Titans,
dude.
But I did get my degree in kinesiology. Love that.
I just remember in that class, we didn't know, I don't know, you just don't know what your life's going to be at that moment. So it's just literally super cool. And I just remember sitting next to you, because we kind of knew each other from Hacienda Heights. And I'm just like, oh, it's cool that I get to someone from the same area is there. And then to see you, and then I saw you around at 24-hour fitness later working there. And I'm like, oh, let's go. You're actually using your degree.
You're actually doing what you said. I get you.
Unlike some other people, but that's the first thing I want to bring up. So what made you want to go into kinesiology at Cal State Fullerton? Did you always like fitness?
Honestly, no. I was not into exercise at all. I was a dance major before I even switched to kinesiology. And that's another thing. I don't think I knew at all what my life would be at that point. I really liked dance, so I guess I was a little bit into fitness stuff, but not really. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a nurse. And then I was like, oh no, I don't think I could be a nurse. There's no way. I don't do poop or anything to do with nursing like that. Can't do that. And so then literally I went to get a gym membership, and the guy was like, oh, what do you like in the gym? And I said, oh, I like Zumba. I like to do Zumba, so I might do that when I come to the gym. And he's like, oh, what about lifting weights? And I was like, nope, I don't. I just want to use that machine right there, and I want to do Zumba, and that's it. So I was also not into fitness at all.
What age was this?
This was literally I was probably in college. So I think I was maybe my first year in college that I was.
So you hadn't picked a major at that time yet?
No, I was still a dance major. And
you chose dance. Okay.
Yeah, I was still a dance major at that point. And so when I went to get my membership, he was like, okay, well, Zumba. And then when I would go to the gym, I would see him. I would say, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, there's an opening for a Zumba instructor. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know anything. I just do it. I don't know anything about it. And so then I started doing research, and I'm like, maybe I should get certified to be a Zumba instructor, not even a personal trainer. And then when I started looking more into nursing, because I was going to change, I was like, no, there's no way I can do nursing. I can't do that. So then when I looked at other majors, I was like, oh, kinesiology. And I didn't know what kinesiology was.
Yeah.
I did not know what it was. I didn't know what it was going into school either. But then it was on my mind like, oh, I should be a Zumba instructor and I should do that. And then kinesiology is also this. And then I didn't get hired for the Zumba position. So I was like, oh, shoot.
Was that 24?
It was at 24.
Oh, dude. Point Hills?
But the Hills, yes.
Come on, guys. What are you doing?
I know, so I was like, it's fine. No worries. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But I switched again to kinesiology. So I was like, oh, shoot. Now I'm in kinesiology and like, I didn't get hired for the Zumba position. But then I took the intro to it, like the prereq. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I actually do like it. And then I ended up going to get hired at another Zumba place because I was like, no, I want to try to like see where it goes. So I went and I taught Zumba at another place. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out.
Wait, so how do you need like a certification for Zumba, or they're just like...
I think there's like a Zumba certification, but I was trying to think like a little bit ahead. I was like, okay, if I am already at the gym and I'm working, maybe I could meet people and then like, you know, you be a personal trainer for a little bit. And then my ultimate goal was to go to like PT school. That was like my ultimate goal.
Oh, I didn't know that. So we were the same.
Yes, we were the same.
I wanted to do PT too. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone starts off that way, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's drilled into like our brain. Like, oh yeah, you should go to like occupational therapy or go to PT school. And so I feel like that was like not by choice. I feel like I just heard it and I was like, oh yeah, like PT school, we're gonna do that like towards the end. So then I was like, so I'm gonna be a personal trainer first, and then I'm gonna do this. And so I got my certification even before I was done with school, and I started, you know, doing personal training.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if you had this too at Cal State Fullerton, but when I went, because I transferred from Rio Hondo, and the first day they had us all in there, all the kinesiology majors, and they were like, "All right, everyone raise their hand if they want to go into PT school." And like, dude, everyone's hands up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And they're like, well, all of you guys put your hands down. None of you guys are going to be PTs. And we're like, oh my God, dude, this is my first day. Like, what the hell? Like,
you're crushing my dreams.
Like, what about, like, well, what's the alternative then? And they're like,
Yeah.
just find out other stuff. Like, and I was like, I'm just so confused. And like, how was your relationship with the counselors at Cal State Fullerton? Like, did they help lead you in the way to go down PT, or did they cater towards your personal training?
Honestly, no, they didn't like cater in any way at all. I had one teacher that stuck out to me, and she made it a point to be like, there are so many other things that you can do with the kinesiology degree. Don't make it set in stone that you're going to be in PT. Like, have your mind open to other things that you can do. The other professors, they were all very niche, so they didn't really like, because I had the general track. I didn't choose like a specific thing just because I didn't want to, because that first professor was like, you can do a lot of things, don't like set it in stone. So she was the one who was mostly like, you know what, you can do this, you can do that. And I was like, okay. And she didn't really push me towards one. She just made it known, like, in my mind.
Okay. Planted that thought in there.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, like, that's interesting to like know, especially because in high school they don't tell you.
No,
they don't help you at all.
Kinesiology, like what?
Yeah, they don't tell you that. They're like, there's business or English or history, and you're like, okay. And they don't tell you anything about like kinesiology or what it is or anything like that. But I feel like the one counselor I had, she didn't try to push me a certain way, but she did make it known. She gave me the knowledge, like, there's a lot of different things that you can do in like this field, like if you know, get it in kinesiology. So
yeah, no, and I think at Cal State Fullerton, like, I think for us, it's kind of a different experience because, dude, the kinesiology there is like, they take it serious. Like the lab that they've got and like all of the different specific disciplines that they have. Like,
yeah,
I was like blown away with that. And sometimes it's like a little overwhelming because it's very like school lecture based. Like, I don't think they would have taught, I don't think they had any classes like if you were to teach on like business with fitness. Did they have anything like that?
No, they usually don't. Most of it was like the science-based stuff, like the body, how it works, injuries, mechanism of injuries, healing people's bodies, or they want to accomplish this in sports. How would you train them? They want to do this. How would you do that? So a lot of that stuff, but not really pairing it with like the business portion of it. Yeah.
So, okay. So you became a Zumba instructor and you're kind of like liking it now. You're teaching some people, you're having fun. Like, was the next step becoming the personal trainer, or how was that?
Yeah, so had nothing figured out. I was just kind of like, woo, I'm doing whatever I want to do because my parents are not telling me to pay anything, so I'm good to go. So I was just like having fun with whatever I was doing. Thankful to my parents for not, cutting me off so soon.
Yeah,
So
dude.
I was just like, living life. So the reason why I started to like actually go into personal training was because people in the Zumba class were like, "Oh, do you train? Like, are you a personal trainer? Can you help me, like, with this?" And they would ask me questions, and I really liked it because I was like, "Oh, I do know that. You know why? Because I'm in school, and I actually can answer your question. I can
Yeah,
actually help
like
you."
you know some big words that could get you
Yes,
back
yeah,
looking
yes.
cool.
I'm like, yeah, your femur? Do you know where that is? Let me show you. So like literally I was like I knew the answers to the
Yeah,
questions and I
yeah,
felt like really good. And then I started to get a sense like I actually do like this. Like when people ask me like questions or they whatever, I feel good. I want to
yeah,
like continue to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then one thing too, there was a lady who would take the Zumba classes, and this Zumba wasn't at the gym; it was like a separate studio. And I told her, "Oh, you should do this and this and this and this," because we had just learned about it in class, so it was fresh in my mind. And then she came back and she's like, "Oh, I did the stretches and my legs feel so good and this," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like awesome! See, like I think I need to do more of this."
Yeah.
And then that kind of pushed me to be like into the personal training aspect of it. But I did not have it planned. I just started to like do things and like people would come to me and I would answer their questions. And then I was like, oh, this is really fun. Like, I like how the feeling I get, like, I feel accomplished. Like, oh, I helped them out. I want to, like, help. Who needs help? You need help? What questions do you have? I want to help you. Like, that type of stuff. So,
No, that's so
yeah.
good. Yeah, I had a little bit of that working at the PT clinic. I worked like as a PT tech, they call it,
Uh huh.
like for a year. So I did like manuals, massage, the
Yeah.
stretching, and
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, it's so rewarding. Like,
Right? Yes.
and
Yeah.
like it's addicting. It feels like it is addicting. Like you just want to like help, but then also it's bad too, where there's like some people who, well, they're because they're coming because they're injured, and like sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to be there. So it's like they're
It's hard.
not
Yeah.
motivated, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
I get you. I get you. It's hard. It's difficult.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the gym portion, like the first gym I worked at, it was more difficult now or then than it is now. But definitely trying to get people motivated and like wanting to show up and do the workouts, things like that. That's always hard. It's always
Yeah.
a struggle.
So, okay, did you become a trainer first before you started the business, or was that?
Yeah. So I then applied. I went back to 24. Even though like I had a little bit of an ego and I was like, they didn't hire me for Zumba. Why do I want to go back there? But I was like, no, I'm gonna do it because I have to just swallow my pride and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go and try to see if I can talk to the guy. Because he was really nice to me and I always
Was it the
like,
same dude?
it was the same dude.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
he was there. And so I told him, I said, hey, I know I didn't get hired for Zumba, but can I be considered for like a PT position? I filled out my resume and I did nothing electronic. Like I literally went in and I took my resume to him and I said like, oh, I have my resume. And so he was like, okay, I'll take it. And then we'll see if we can give you a call back. And I said, okay. And I kind of just like waited. And then he did. He was like, oh, we have a spot open. And so come in for an interview and bring all of this stuff and make sure you're certified and whatnot. And I said, okay. So I came in and I went for an interview. And at the time at the gym, I was intimidated because there were no female trainers. There were 4 male trainers. And so at the time I was like, okay, I'm kind of scared because
Yeah.
like the dynamic is weird.
Was this after you got your degree or before you're still going to
I
school?
was in the middle of it. So I had just gotten certified. And
Okay.
so I did my certification, but I had no degree yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is going to be like a little bit scary. I don't know what to expect. But I ended up getting hired. And then luckily another girl came on after me. So I was like, okay,
A
it's
little
not
more
going to be.
comfortable.
Yes. I was like, it's not going to be too weird. I'll have like another coworker there. So it wasn't like, too bad. But the difference between like male trainers and female trainers is very
Yeah,
different.
talk about that. What's the difference?
I honestly, when I was at the gym, it was like difficult for me to, not in a bad way, but some of the male trainers, they have like the flirtatious vibes. And you can kind of see their connection with like other like female clients. I don't have that ability. So most of the people I was training were women. Still now, you see, I only train women.
Yeah,
I did have some male clients in the beginning to kind of like build it up,
yeah.
but I did not have that like swagger. I wasn't like, so we're gonna buy some sessions or what? Like
Oh,
I
so
was
it is.
not.
It's like a part of it, right?
Yes,
Like
it's a part of it.
it really
You
is,
have to
huh?
market yourself and your like personality, and you have to be able to be like, talkative. And I would be like, someone would be like, I don't want sessions. And I'd be like, okay, like it's okay, see you later. Like I was not the type of person to be like, are you sure? Like come on. Like I could not do that. It was very strange. And my boss would be like, you need to be more assertive. Like when they say no, you have to have a way to like tell them to say yes.
Yeah, like a
that,
rebuttal.
yes, like that TikTok that's like, make them say yes. Bro, I can't. I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to tell them. So I would literally just like lose sales because I was not like confident in that. I wasn't able to be like, well, so what are we doing? Are you gonna buy sessions? Are you gonna do this? It was hard. It was very difficult for me.
Yeah, because you're just trying to like, you just love it for the love of the game. Like you're not into like sales and like,
yes,
but it's good experience, right? Like
it is,
getting that and getting rejected and like,
yes, of course, yeah. That was like good to see. Like when people were like, no, it's okay. Then I'd be like, okay, and I would reflect and be like, what could I do like better next time to where I don't have to get a no. Because I didn't want to have to like sell, but I just didn't want to have people like say no, if that makes sense. So I'm like, if I could make people say yes and like, show them the benefits and not have to make them say no for me to keep having to like, rebuttal, then that would be perfect. So that's what I worked on. I worked on like the like first portion of it, like taking them up to the gym,
the front end,
showing them my knowledge, letting them know like, yeah, I'm going to have a degree, but I've taken these classes, building a connection. And then that's when I was like, do not give me any more male HFCs, which is a consultation. And I said, only give me females because I could connect. I could say like, yeah, I've been there. I've done this. And like we could be, like good partnership. So then when it would come down to like, oh, we're going to train, they'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to train. And then I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't have to like sell. I don't have to.
Yeah, no,
like,
that is
rebuttal.
the best way of sales. And if anyone tells you different, like, because at the end of the day, they want you to, they were pushy because they want to get obviously paid more.
Yeah, they want the money. Yeah.
But no, I think that's the best way. And I mean, I've been in sales for a couple of years now, and I've learned that the whole key is like, you just want whoever you're talking to understand what the process is.
Yes.
And then once they understand that, then they can make the decision if it makes sense or if it doesn't. But some people right away, just because, naturally, and us too, I'm sure, like, when someone comes to talk to you, like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Like, no, I don't want like, but then if I really understood, like, no, dude, like in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, like my whole life, my body's going to be completely different. Like, and
you have to really show like the value up front. So that helped me because I was able to work on that. Like show value, build value, show them like, what the future would be like if they were able to start now, things like that. Like
I'm just curious, what does the pay structure look like at like a corporate place, like a 24? Like, is it?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So you get paid per session, which I think at the time that I was working there, it was about $15 a session. And then if you sell a package, you only get 30% commission. So you get paid for the session that you do, which is at the time, I believe it was $15 a session.
$15 one session. How?
15. Yes. Yeah. So if you're on the clock for an hour, you get paid that $15 for that hour because you get paid just like you're an employee. And then you get commission, but it's only 30%. So in order to like actually at a corporate gym to make money, you have to be like selling. You have to sell packages every single day. Even if your like schedule cannot accommodate that many people, which is another reason why I didn't really like working for 24, was because there was a time that I was selling a lot. And I got like awards and like the newbie award and all of that stuff. Yeah. A rookie of the month and stuff. But then I was like, I had like an icky feeling because I was like, oh shoot, I just sold all of these packages to these people thinking like built their value and their image that I'm going to be training them.
Yeah.
And then I don't have the availability because I was just doing it
overbooked.
Because my bosses were like, sell.
That's how they are. They're just like, sell, get them to sign, and we'll figure out the rest later. Yes. Hopefully it works out. We don't really care.
Yeah, we don't really care. Yeah, which is the part that I was like, that is like the worst because you meet people and then they're like, oh yeah, they have this image like she's gonna be my trainer, we're gonna do this or whatever, and then once I'm like, oh, I sold the package or whatnot, And then they're like, oh yeah, you know what? You're actually going to be with Jeff today. Like Jeff's your trainer. It would be like dished off to someone else. So that's when it also became like a problem for me.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Yeah, I'm sure that because my first job was like that too. It caused a
yeah.
lot of like mental stress.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you were like, because you have this disconnect of like, you want to help these people out, but at the end of the day, like when you're selling it, like you just feel kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like you don't know if you can come through with what you're telling
With
them.
what I'm saying, yes, yeah. And I did try to change like what I would say to people because I didn't want them to think that I was like lying to them. But it was really difficult. Like it was super difficult for me to do. And there was just a time where like me and my ex boss, we're just gonna say he might see this, okay? He literally like embarrassed me in front of everybody. And because I stopped focusing on sales for a while. And I said, I have good clientele. I know I need to make commission if I really want to make money for myself.
Also, you don't
But
have to.
you don't have to. Your boss will set like a goal for you. They'll be like, okay, based on this performance, you're gonna like, or your goal will be this, but you won't get fired if you don't sell, if that makes sense. So my schedule was booked. Like in anybody's image, you would be like, oh, she's doing really well. She has clients, like work 6 hours. We did split shifts.
Mm-hmm.
So I would work in the morning, have the middle of my day off, and then come back at night and finish off with clients. And I had a good set of clients. I was working split shifts 4 and 4 hours, so I still had a full 8-hour day. And I worked Monday through Thursday with Fridays off because I had school and stuff. So my schedule was really good at the time. But when the new boss came in, he was like, yeah, your schedule's great, but we need more money and we're not getting any money off of you. So you need to sell because we're not really getting any money from your clients. So, and I had a conversation with him and I said, I don't want to sell right now because I can't take these clients in.
There's physically no time. If you had people dropping off and you need to replace them, then that makes sense. But
yes. And then
so weird, man.
Yeah, and he's like, well, if you dilly-dally with your clients, he didn't say that, but he was talking about how I was with my clients. And he's like, you can get more people in. And I was like, no, because I love my clients and they love me. And the reason why they stay with me is because of my like personality and how I train them, like my, how I am. And so I quit. Literally the next day.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Was that the first kind of thought of like, okay, I need to do this on my own?
In the beginning, I wasn't. I was like, oh, I'm gonna stick it out. Everybody has like issues at work. It's gonna be fine. Like I'll figure it out. But when that happened, we were in a team meeting and he said it in front of everybody, and I was like, because now it's attacking how I am.
Wait, there was with other people there too?
Yes, and I was like so embarrassed, and I'm young still. I'm like 21, 22. I'm still in college.
And you're killing it.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I didn't know what to do. So I was embarrassed. So of course I go home and I tell my family like, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. And my dad's like, what? You just bought I'm not helping you. I'm not going to pay. And I'm like, okay, like I'll figure it out. And I quit because I was so embarrassed. And I was like, there's no way I could come back and like put a smile on my face. Like I'm going to be miserable. But I did do 2 weeks. I gave a 2-week notice. I wrote a letter and I still was like,
kept it business.
I didn't take my clients. All I said was, I'm leaving the gym. I didn't say, come with me. I had nowhere to go. So there was no way I could even take my clients anywhere. But yeah, I quit the gym and I was like, I gotta go. And I didn't even think that I was going to continue like, doing personal training. Cause like I said, I had no money to pay to get a space.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to train. I didn't have equipment. I had nothing.
Does this after you got the degree or still in school?
I still have.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
Yeah. And I had think at this point I'm like 21, 22. So one more year. And I was just telling my sister in the car, I was like, dude, I applied to 40 plus jobs when I quit the gym and I got 0 calls.
What?
Back. Yes. I was telling her, I even applied to another Zumba place at the time and I didn't get any calls back. And looking back now, I'm like, it was just meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
That path was not meant for me. But it lit a fire under my ass because I was like, okay, I'm broke and I need to pay for this stuff. So what are we going to do? So I was like, Dad, can I convert the garage into a gym? And then that's when the business started.
Oh, wow. Yes, what a cool I had no idea
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Hmm.
but you needed that 24-hour experience
I
to
did.
get, to get your experience in, and then learn that that wasn't like the
Yes.
end route for you.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to know, like, give me the details on like what was the steps. So you converted the garage, but like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're just out there like, you know,
So
hey, I do training. Like, please, somebody.
honestly, I know anybody walking down the street, you
Yeah,
come over
like you look out
here.
of shape getting over
Yeah,
here.
let's go. No, so when I was leaving the gym, I had a lot of clients and they were like, "Where are you going?" I had one client too who was like, "What's going on? Why are you leaving?" And because they knew that I loved like doing what I did, and they knew I loved them. They knew that I had no issues with anything else. And one of my clients, she was very intuitive, and she said, "What did they do to you? Who said something to you? Who did?" And I said nothing. And I wasn't going. I was very scared because obviously at the time you're young, you're
Oh my
scared that
gosh,
someone's
yeah,
gonna come after you or like
yeah,
hit you with the you're gonna be sued or
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. No, I feel that.
And so I said, honestly, nothing. I just feel like I need to grow a little bit. We need to move on. And then she said, she saw my boss going up and he said, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" to my client. And she went, "Are you the reason why she's leaving?" And I was like,
Oh
"Oh
my
my
god.
gosh." And shout out to, I'm going to say her name, Vicky, because she's still my client to this day.
Let's go, dude. That's a day
Yes,
one. Like,
she was legit like, "Are you the reason?" And I had my clipboard and I was like, "I still have a week here. Be quiet. I'm gonna like, I'm scared." So then we went down. And then when my other clients got like wind of like me leaving, when I finally saw them, of course the questions: "Where are you going? Are you going to another gym? Like, what are you doing?" And so I told them, I was like, "I don't have anywhere to train. I don't have any equipment. So I'll figure it out. And if I do end up going back to training, I'll let you know. Like, we'll be in contact." And then I had one angel client who is still my client today. Shout out to Rachel. She said, "I have gym equipment. Come train me at my house." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool." So she was the only client I had for like half a year. And then I got another client from social media, and I drove all the way from Hacienda Heights to Temple City because
wow.
that was the two clients I had. And so I was making house calls for like a year because I had nowhere to train. I didn't have any clients. So whatever clients like, contacted me, I'm like, "I have equipment that I could take to your house. Like, I can do it at
Dang,
your
so
house."
you're like living in your car pretty much, right?
Yes,
How
and I
much
had a
driving to Fullerton?
yes,
And then going,
literally.
oh my
Yes,
gosh.
going to Hacienda Heights and then going back to Temple City, coming back to Hacienda Heights. And then I bought dumbbells and I literally had like 60 pounds of equipment on my back going into people's houses because I had nowhere to train. But I was like, "No, this is going to build rapport and
Yeah.
I'm going to get like, things." And then that's when the home gym came. And I was like, "Can I please like convert the garage?" And my dad was like, "Yeah." Shout out to mom and dad because they let me turn their freaking garage into a home gym. But they're the real ones. But yeah. And even then, I had old equipment. I didn't have money to buy new equipment. My sister lent me $400 to buy like weights off of Amazon. And my dad had some old stuff from the 80s, like literally equipment stuff from the 80s. And I was
Like Rocky trained with this stuff.
yes, literally, I'm like, "Oh my gosh," it was all rusted, everything. And I was like, "We're gonna make it work because I don't have money to like do anything else." And then once my clients that follow me on social media saw like, "Oh, she has a place now," because obviously I can't train everybody at their houses; they don't have
So
everything set
are
up.
you posting your workouts with these clients?
Yes, now I am. Yeah, now I am. And so people slowly were seeing. And then once my clients who I had at the gym saw that I had a place now, they were like, "Oh, are you open? Like, can I, train with you?" And I'm not going to lie, you do have insecurities like working from home. So I was like, "Yes, but I do train from my garage. Are you okay with that?" Like, I need to double check. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, for sure." And I had doubts. I was like, "Oh my gosh, people are gonna come to the garage and it's gonna be all messed up and like, ugh." But we made it work. We made it work. It was fine. But
Oh man,
yeah,
what a story.
yeah, it
But
was
that just
tough.
shows like that's a lot of lessons for any of you out there. Like you don't need to get thousands of dollars of equipment. You don't even need a spot.
Yes, yes,
Like just
yeah.
figure out a way,
Figure it
right?
out.
And that's what,
Yeah,
that's just what you had in front of you, right? You just had
yeah.
clients who really liked you. And
Hmm.
but that's so cool how it started from, I mean, it just goes to show you like how much you loved it and
Hmm.
how good you were too, that they would like hit you up extra, advocate for you against like the management and
Yeah,
like
Hmm. It's true.
Dang.
It's true. My
So
clients too, I had some that like still had sessions at the gym. And they were like, it's fine, just let the sessions expire. And I was like, that's loyalty. I love that. And like their loyalty built that characteristic like in me. Like now I'm super loyal to my clients. Like my
well,
clients are
yeah,
so loyal that like it built that in me. And I'm like, now I am like
that's a
legit
good
loyal.
motivating factor because there's sometimes where you don't want to go to work and stuff, but it like when you got somebody like texting you like, hey, like
Yes,
I
yeah.
got, are we gonna work out today? It's like
Yes,
doesn't
yes.
matter what. It's like okay, yeah. So
Yes, let's
that
go.
accountability thing that probably helped a lot, right? From
Yeah.
getting a lot of
Yeah.
either pressure, but good pressure, I would say, right, from
Yes,
your
yeah.
clients.
Good pressure. Yeah, good pressure. Hmm. But it was
Oh
cool.
man, and so how do you even figure out like pricing? Like, what do you? Because you don't know. Are you just copying the 24 model or like?
I did. So I still have the 24 model.
That's amazing.
I copied it, but because obviously I adjusted the prices because I work from home and things like that. It's grown since. Obviously there
Oh
have
yeah,
been price
yeah,
increases,
yeah.
but I did copy their model of like session packages and like the breakdown. I just put my own like numbers and stuff in there, but their breakdown I still copied that from there. Um, but yeah, I think I needed to start at 24 so I can
No,
get
you
all this
definitely
knowledge first and
no,
then
because that
yeah.
sounds like you needed this because Kelsey Fullerton's not teaching you about
No, the
that.
sales or business or anything like that.
You'll get the
Yeah.
knowledge of like the gastrocnemius
Yeah.
and the hip flexors and all
Yeah.
that, but
And how to build muscle and whatnot. But if you have no clients, you can't really use that information. So
so
yeah.
okay. And then the next like thing that I was curious about, like when you started building your brand and through social media. So like,
Hmm.
what gave you the idea to start filming it? Because I'm sure there are trainers out there that just do the personal training, but they kind of disregard the social media
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Hmm.
Like, did you always like posting before you started doing the gym, or was that just like a newer thing that you just wanted to try and you thought it was fun? Like, what
Yeah.
was your take on that?
Well, we started with YouTube and we had a series. She was my first person in the series, and it was
Eh,
called Getting Fit with My Fam. And she was the first one, and we filmed a whole YouTube series. And we've always been like, she was really into like makeup and stuff. So we always were into filming ourselves, like all of that stuff, thanks to our dad. Our dad was like, you guys should do this. It'll get like 100 hits on YouTube. And we're like, no, Dad, I don't know if that would work, but I guess we'll try it. So my dad was the one who was like telling us to record and say, "Oh, you should like."
really?
Yes, he was so into YouTube, and like YouTube was big, but
No,
we
no, no,
weren't
not
like,
that big. During our
yeah,
college years, it was.
it wasn't, and he would be like, "It'll get 100 like hits. Like you should do this. Look, you should do that, and like record it."
He's
And
acting like a professional.
literally, and he was like, now that I look back, I'm like, I should have done everything that my dad suggested we record. And he's like, oh, you should record yourself cleaning the garage, like making it the
Dude,
gym.
what was he watching? How does he know this stuff?
I don't know. And he's like on TikTok now. Like he literally is on
Oh, so
TikTok.
hey, you gotta start hitting him up because he knows the next waves.
He's like doing all the stuff. And then so he was like, you should film this, you should film that. And I would be like, no. Like I don't know why it didn't appeal to me. But then some of the stuff he would tell us to record, I'm like, okay, like we'll
Yeah.
record it. So we started that series on YouTube, and YouTube wasn't really a thing. People
No.
weren't really posting on it. So I would have to post like, guys, I posted a YouTube video, and I would put the link. But of course, like it didn't get a lot of views. So we did YouTube for a while, and then I did make workout videos when I still worked at 24, and I put those on YouTube, and those did okay. And I did get some followers from YouTube on my page, my Instagram page, but I only had one at the time.
So was this because you're still like that? Like at that example, right? You're still
Yeah.
at 24. You're
Yeah.
posting it. Is your goal? Do you have any goal in mind, or are you just kind of doing it for fun, or are you thinking of maybe down the line you're gonna have these clients? Like, what were your thoughts on that?
Just for fun.
Oh wow.
I was not trying to be an influencer. I was not trying to.
Yeah, because it wasn't really a thing. So
No, yeah, it wasn't a thing. I was just like, oh, this is for fun. I want to show people my workouts. And I want to do like this and this, but it wasn't with the goal of like being an influencer. I didn't even think, oh, this is going to get me more clients. I didn't even think like a business perspective. I just thought like, oh, this is cool. Like if it blows up, it blows up. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal. So I did not go into social media with that like intention at all. Until like, I guess the pandemic. And then that's when it shifted a little bit. And even then I had a wake up call too, because I was following trends and stuff. And obviously there's cool trends that people do, because I do the trends still.
Yeah.
But I would always like post videos and like nothing would stick. I would get like 2 views, 1 view. I would post videos every single, like almost every day, nothing. And I'd be like, dude, I'm giving up TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok anymore. Like, we're not going to even be on there. And my sister would be like, you never know, just keep posting, like post your workouts. And I'd be like, why? Like, no one sees them and I don't care. Like, it's not like, Um, and then I realized that it's because I was posting things that like I thought people wanted to see. I'm like, oh, for sure, like they want to see this. Someone's gonna watch this video and like it and share it. And then I posted a video of me dancing around, like being myself, and it went viral.
Oh my gosh, of course. So that just goes, yeah, because sometimes I feel like you can get kind of stuck in that like hamster wheel or in that social media sphere if you're too involved in it, that sometimes you need to like take a step back and like just do it for what you wanted to do. Do your little family series or, do make it chill. Want.
Yes, yeah. And so that went viral, and it was literally a partner workout with me and my sister. And it went viral, and the comments weren't even about the video and the workouts. They were like, love your vibes. This is so funny. Like, you guys like look cool, sister, like stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, they're watching the workout. They're going to save it for later, but they're liking the video because of how I am and like what I'm doing is like my personality. So then I totally shifted and I started doing voiceovers and like talking like, hey guys, welcome back, blah, blah, all this stuff. And it was me like actually just being myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, like I needed to take a step back because I was just doing what people thought, or I was doing what I thought people wanted.
Yeah.
Like the serious.
What works on,
What works for other creators. Yeah. Which is great because sometimes it does work. And if you follow like all of the stuff, people will like and like it'll get big. But for my brand specifically at the time, I think people wanted like the funniness and like,
just show who you are.
Yes, yeah.
So but that's cool. I like that you at least try everything, right? And then see if what sticks and what's not. I'm sure you can incorporate some of the stuff that works now into your real personality, and that's probably like
the perfect
the nice concoction formula.
Because you still do the trends, but you make it to your own, like your own niche and your own thing. Because I still do the trends all the time. But yeah.
All right. So we talked about your start with 24. Then you started the business little by little. Now, I want to ask about your social media game, because I think your social media game is fire. Like the consistency, you got an aesthetic about your accounts. Like, I think it's like a goal that, I would want something like that for the podcast. Like, so I'm going to be selfish and ask a bunch of questions on that. Like, what kind of things have you learned along the way? I know you kind of talked about like that balance between, trying to fit or doing trends versus doing personal stuff. But is there any like specific things that you found out that really hit, like whether it's posting at certain times or doing daily versus not doing daily? Like, is there anything that comes to mind when you think of that?
Yeah. So, I will say one disclaimer, some of the like actual, like when to post, all of that stuff, not necessarily the content, but like when to post certain things, like how to get more people to your page. My sister helped me because she's a social media manager.
What?
So she did. Shout out to Devin. See, there's so many people that I need at Read by Devin. Yeah.
Wow. Shout her out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So she did tell me like the little like things when to post. But yeah, what works, like I was saying, she was like, this is trending. Do this, do that. And I'm like, no, like my sister knows, like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm lazy and I don't want to do this. And that's a lot of work. And like the social media thing was very hard for me in the beginning. Like I was saying, I would post what I wanted and it was fun. And I'm like, who cares? If it gets views, it gets views. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it was very difficult for me to like want to do it. Especially because I was like, I didn't see it as a way to get clients or a way to be, an influencer.
For fun.
Just for fun. But what, like I said, what really helped is you doing some trendy stuff, like the little tiny trends, but mostly being like myself, posting still what I wanted. And I feel like what I wanted to post stuck better with my specific audience, because they were like, oh, like, this is cool. You're funny, like more voiceovers, or like your jokes are funny.
I feel like voiceovers are a thing. Like
they're a thing. Yes. And that's why I feel like in the beginning, back when the pandemic started and I would do voiceovers, people were like, oh, this is funny. Cause like TikTok used to be, what was it? Musically, where
Oh
people
yeah.
would just lip sync to songs on the video. They'd be like doing their stuff, and I didn't do that. So I feel like when people, obviously I'm not the first person to do a voiceover, but it wasn't really big yet.
Wait,
It was
explain to
still,
me. I'm like a, I don't know anything about this stuff.
uh-huh.
Voiceover is what, like, what is that?
So I would record myself like doing like a workout or whatever, and then I would literally talk to the people. I would be
Oh,
like, "Hey
okay.
guys, like we're gonna do this today, and these really hurt, so you're gonna do this, and then also this and this and this, and also guys, don't be afraid to do this, and whatever." So I would actually like talk to them
That makes
while
sense.
they're watching
Yeah.
the workout, and I feel like that really like stuck with them. Especially when I work with brands, the voiceovers are what like, you know, they ask me for or what I do for them. Because people like to see it visually, but they also connect with the person who's talking to them on like in the video.
Yeah.
So they like that. But what really stuck was that, and I really getting out of my like, because there were times when I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. Like I would be recording and I would say like, that's funny of me because that's me just being me. But then I'd be scared to be like, oh, I'm gonna post
What
it
are
on
people
social
gonna
media.
think about
Yes,
this?
like they're gonna be like, dude, why is she posting that? And I would be like, oh, I want to post it because it's funny to me because I think I'm funny. I think everybody thinks they're funny, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, and I'd show my sister, be like, is this funny? They'd be like, yeah, it's hilarious. And I'm like, no, no one's gonna think it's hilarious. I should not post that. Like, I don't want to post it. And then that's another thing that I would say, like a tip is, who cares? Literally just post it. You can't please everybody anyway. So someone's gonna like it, someone's gonna not, no matter what you post. So might as well post what you want and what you think is funny. Because most of the
Yeah.
time, there's so many other people who also think it's funny because they have similar, like, you know,
Yeah, and
humor
you're
and
and by
stuff.
not posting, you're preventing that person to be entertained or like that video, right?
Yes, right, yeah, and have them share with other people and, you know, things like that, because you see it all the time, like something very niche and very strange. And like I see like there's this guy who literally just makes faces at the camera and he's like singing songs and he goes, wow, like at the end of his videos.
Yeah.
And we think it's hilarious. And I send her videos all the time and I'm like, dude, this is hilarious. And of course people are in the comments like, this is not funny. But then there's
For some
a
people,
million
dude,
likes.
it hits.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, a million people think it's funny. So that would be like another thing too that I would say is like, post whatever you want. Like, don't worry about what's trending. Don't worry about if you're embarrassed, because there's going to be people out there who like the content either way. And those are the people you want anyway. You want the people who think it's funny, who like it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't want the, obviously, people who don't like it. You want the
Oh yeah.
supporters.
But I think a
So-
good thing too that you kind of brought up too is that you have your sisters too to like actually
Yeah.
like give you again the positive reinforcement to post it.
Yes,
but also
yes,
I'm sure she tells you like, the hell is this?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
no, yeah, yes. She's like, maybe you should do this instead. And most of the time, I'm like, no, I'm gonna post it. That's the thing about me too, is even if they give me feedback, I'm not good at constructive criticism. Sometimes I take it, and sometimes I'm like, no, what the fuck? Like, I'm gonna post
Dude,
this
I feel
myself.
I'm the same way with that
Yeah.
stuff. Like I get hurt. I'm like, I don't, because it's like, are you
You're
like,
attacking
are you
me.
attacking me? Like, is the whole thing just a sham? Like, you know, like.
I don't know what I'm doing.
But then for me, at least, like a couple days later, then I start to think and reflect. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see how that makes sense. But
Yes, yeah.
no, dude,
That's
criticism
how I
is
am
tough,
too.
man.
Yeah, no, that's how I am too. I'm just like, no, I had this idea in my mind and I already filmed it, so therefore I'm gonna post it. And obviously, like my sister too, she has the knowledge of it, and I always override her. I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not gonna post it like that. And she's like, okay, do whatever you want. So that's like in me too. Sometimes I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna do it.
Have you ever got like backlash? Because you've been in the game for a while. So
Yeah.
like, have you ever got that or bad messages or comments of just like,
Yes, I still to this day get comments. Before it would bother me a lot. I would be like, I'm quitting social media. I can't take it. This is why I can't be famous, because I can't take the heat, like stuff like that. And it was always like the first hate comment I got. The first hate comment was someone on my video called me chubby. And I was like,
oh my God.
that hurts. That hurts because I think I'm so fit and someone called me chubby. But I was like, okay, whatever. Like, we're going to get past it. And I did delete that comment. I was like, we're not leaving that comment. I'm deleting it because it's my social media. I could delete it if I want to.
Yeah.
So I deleted it. And then another comment, which some of them are super funny because they're super random. But I had just bought weights and I was deadlifting. And someone was like, those are fake weights. and there's no way that a girl that short can lift that much weight. And I was like, guys, I promise you, social media is not my only job. I literally have clients in person who come and lift these weights. Like, I'm not lying. What the heck? Those are just funny, though. Those are like hilarious comments.
But it's just like, because at the end of the day, like, this is someone that's like, either walking around in their kitchen just like real quick, just like, they think nothing of it, and it's like, dude, if you only knew on the other side of like getting
who
this,
is
it's like,
there?
dude, come on.
I'm reading it. I read all of it. Okay, I have a lot of time on my hands. But yes, I like see a lot of like those comments. Other comments too. I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't respond to any of those types of comments. The comments I do respond to, and you could probably go back and like see them, is when people like try to refute information. So they'll say like, oh, this is wrong. And I'm like, actually, it's not. And I can prove it. And there's Google. Like, you could literally go on Google and see it. Those comments I will like respond with, because now it has to do with like knowledge. And that's my brand, is like educating people.
Yeah.
Or showing them like the right from wrong, or what they can do instead of this, things like that. But all the other ones attacking me, in the beginning, I'd be like, oh, God, I'm wounded. But after like maybe, I don't know, 6 months, I'm like, yeah, I'm chubby. I don't care. Someone was like, you could at least do your hair for a video. And I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to.
People are so weird.
I'm like,
man.
I'm literally working out. Leave me alone. Like, but little comments like that, they do not like, it doesn't penetrate me at all anymore. But in the beginning, so because it's new and you don't expect that, you expect like, oh, like this is going to be a nice little cute video. You expect people to like, put nice stuff. But yeah, the mean comments now, I hardly get any, because I've built my following to where it's people who like my content.
Mm-hmm.
And you get those one-off strays that just happen to stumble upon your content and will be like, this workout wasn't even hard. And I'm like, okay, like, it's okay. Like, you could try another one. I'll make it a little bit harder next time.
So it sounds like you, like, I think that's very smart of you, because I listen to a lot of business type podcasts and read books on it. But like, I really love that your brand and company is very catered to a specific type of audience. Like, where did you get the idea to do that? Or was it just naturally of just, and then also tell me what it is like your goal is to, because I know a lot of it is with empowering women, right?
Yeah.
But just give me like what that stands for you, and why you chose that route.
So I feel like in the beginning, everything, since I only trained women and I started my social media during the pandemic, and my business had already been open, I was already training a lot of people at this time when I started on TikTok, because the TikTok is when it blew up and I got like over 100,000 followers on that platform. So for that particularly, I feel like the people who followed me and stayed around, they were mostly women, because I did cater to them, because I would do everything. I would do workouts like, oh, you should, like, these are the pants I wear, or if you want something like a high impact sports bra, these are the bras that I wear, things like that. So it was mostly catered to women, like right off the bat. But also I would, like, when I would make content, I would think like, oh, my clients wanted me to post a HIIT workout. It was literally like my clients saying, you should post this. Like, do you have any workouts online that I could follow? And I'd be like, I don't, but I will. And I'll post them for you. And then that's when I would post on TikTok with my clients in mind, because that's what they would tell me they wanted. So I think that helped build my niche, because it was everything in person. It was my business, my physical business, that then translated into social media. And I was like, okay, I need to start making videos because my clients want to see them. And then more people were following because they,
that is so smart. I think that's like a key thing that everyone can get from, because just think about it, right? If you hadn't had a community or clients already, like, you have to draw from a blank slate of like, okay, I'm going to make a workout. You don't really know who it's catering for.
Yeah.
You didn't even, and it sounds like you didn't even have the plan to just do this type of have this type of clientele.
Yeah.
But it just kind of worked really organically, right? And it's just grown bigger, but still a specific niche, which is like really good.
Yeah.
I think, and probably makes it easier too for like just acquiring more business, and it's the type of client that you actually like and they like you, right?
Yes. Yeah. Before, like I said, I did train guys before. Every client that I had before at the gym, my first like 5 clients that I had were all dudes. They were all guys. And I like, still to this day, I remember them because they were super chill. They were really nice.
Yeah.
I had a client named David. He literally saw my profile and he was like, she is the only one with education. I want her to be my trainer. So he was like the first person to actually pick me. And then there was another guy named Jonathan. He was so cool. He was like in high school and he was like, oh, I want to be a swimmer. Can you help me? And I'm like, yes, I can. So they were all guys in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when I transitioned and I started doing my own thing, my female clients were the ones that I felt comfortable with, like training at home. So of course it then switched into mostly female. And then I was like, oh, I like these vibes, like all like female classes, even like the classes too that I teach now.
Yeah.
They're all female and everybody is like, they're competitive, but they're also supportive. And I was like, dang, this is cool. Like I really like this because I used to do boot camps with both. And all of the guys are very quiet. And, you know, some of the guys I went to school with actually came to one of my boot camps.
What?
Yes. And I was
Wow.
like, oh my gosh, guy. I was so happy.
That's the best.
Yes,
you know?
I was so happy. Like when I saw them coming up, I was like, dang, someone from high school is actually here, like at my boot camp. This is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. And they're quiet and they still like do well, but the girls were like, yeah, let's work out in the rain. Let's do it's important. Let's do this. Can we do this?
Where would you guys do your workouts at?
We used to do them at the Los Robos Park. That's
Oh,
where it
nice.
started. Yeah,
or like in the basketball courts?
Yeah, in the basketball court.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so it would
It's a
rain.
good spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spot. And when it would rain, I'd be like, dang it, I have to cancel like the boot camp. And then my clients would be like, no, we're working out in the rain. Let's go. Like, it could be Avengers and we're going to do this. No. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let's just do it. Like, in the pouring rain. So that's how I was like, you know what? I like these vibes. So, like, you know. And obviously, I'm a girl, too. So I'm like, I could definitely relate. So it's easier for me. Because obviously, like, you know, we have issues. We have problems. We have this. We're like, you know, everybody does, too.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you're talking to another girl, it's more comfortable.
Yeah,
and you
get the
like,
exact kind of support, and you know,
yeah. So
get
it's a good
the camaraderie there too.
Yeah, a good relationship.
So okay, tell me about because you're changing lives out here, right? So like, what's the feelings that you get, you know, when you actually see people making progress or like telling you like what is there any like crazy stories that you have of like from people going from, you know, really out of shape to getting in shape or, you know, what sticks out to you on that?
I always talk about this one client. So she came in, she had 8 kids, and she literally, even with all of the setbacks in her life, like she would always come in and get her workouts in. She was the first person that I would use as an example when my clients would be like, I can't come because of this. I'm like, this person has 8 kids. You can get here. Hurry up. Like, we can do this. Get in for 30 minutes at least. That was one of like my like craziest clients, I would say, like lifestyle wise. But I do have like newer clients now. Like I have a client who recently lost a lot of weight. She's like building like super well with like muscle. She's super committed, and it like blows my mind because she's also like a single mom, and she comes in almost every day of the week. She does her sessions, she does her classes, and I like seeing that, like that commitment, especially to my business. It makes me feel good because I'm like, not only are you like losing weight, you're getting healthy, but it's like with me. It's like with my business. It's with my like training.
Yeah, it's working.
It's like with my classes. It's with my knowledge. And to see that and that she's still committed and wants to come in. And she's like, no, I don't want to have to cancel. That feels good.
Wow.
Because then I'm like, oh shoot, like you actually want to come. Like this is not just like working out, because it's hard to stay motivated to work out. But when like someone else likes you and they're like, no, she's waiting for me, like that means a lot because they know like I don't want to let her down. That feels good because I'm like, okay, they actually like, they like what I'm doing and they respect what we're doing and they have that mutual like liking too. I think that feels like super good. And all of my clients are like that. All of my clients are like, no, I don't want to miss class. I don't want to have to like cancel or whatnot. And so that feels good. That feels good. And even when they're like, I feel stronger, or I went to the gym and I did this, and I'm like, good job.
When they're like kind of flexing of like, or like,
yes.
you know, showing that they like, they're making improvements or
they'll send me pictures and they'll be like, I just did 25 minutes. And I'm like, good job. Like, I love that. Like, I love that you are so proud and that I'm the person you want to tell. Like, I love that. Like, you want to check in with me.
Yeah, like even forget about the business and everything. Like, you just,
Yes.
even just getting that text from anybody's like,
Yes.
cool. So that's such a good thing that it's like, and it's something that you can do in your daily work. So
yes, yeah. So it feels rewarding. It feels rewarding. I definitely love it. That's one of the like the best things. And I think in the beginning, that's what I liked. Like when I was at 24, I didn't like obviously the management. I didn't like the sales or whatnot. But when my clients would be like, oh yeah, I feel this, or oh, someone told me I look really good today, stuff like that, that's when I'm like, okay, I like this. This is
This is
worth
why I
it.
do it.
Yes, I like my clients flexing on people, and like
Yes.
literally, that's what I like. Like I like that. Or like my clients will post and be like, I just did a deadlift, and they'll tag me in their stuff. And then they'll come and be like, dude, oh my gosh, so many people messaged me and like could not believe I did this. And I'm like, see, I love that. I want that for you. I want you to be successful, and I want people to like recognize your, growth. I
Yeah.
want that. Like that is like ultimate. I love
Yeah,
it.
because you see a person not only change physically, but their confidence level, right? And their mental.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Oh,
You
and
see them getting stronger and everything. Yeah.
one thing I want to ask you too is that I feel like your content is a little bit different, or your actual business style too, because you incorporate lifting,
Yeah.
heavy lifting sometimes too, which sometimes like I hear from like my other like friends who are girls, they'll say like they don't want to do
Heavy
benching
lifting.
or doing any kind of heavy lifting because they don't want to get too buff.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you speak on that a little bit about that? Is that are girls gonna get too buff from
No,
doing
you're
weights?
not. You're just gonna
Speak
build
on that a little
juicy
bit.
butt, okay? No, I tell my clients, because still sometimes have clients come in like, I don't want to get too big or like look manly, and I put them on the spot and I'm like, do I look manly? And they're like, well, you don't. And I'm like, and I lift heavy. Like I literally like lift really heavy. I'm hip thrusting almost 300 pounds. I'm gonna flex really quick. I just like beat my PR on deadlifts. It's not that heavy, okay?
Hey.
It's not that heavy.
Still.
I did 225, okay?
That's
But
good.
that's good for me.
That's amazing.
So, but yeah, you won't get bulky, obviously. And you guys need to lift, because as we get older, we start to, break down, and obviously we need bone density, all that good stuff. But no, yeah. And my clients too, they're like, I want a big butt. And I'm like, okay, 12 pounds is not going to do that for you, okay? We need to like
Bump this thing up. You hear the weights clanking, dude.
Yes, you need to like lift heavy. So yeah, no. But I get it. There is that fear because you don't want to be like, bulky and big. I get it.
But that's where your clinical knowledge or your expertise comes in of like, look, like, and I think that's such a powerful thing, especially as I'm seeing like my parents get older, like if they're not lifting, like the bone density is a real thing. Like just getting up and walking, everything gets tougher if you're not working out. So I think you're changing more lives than you even know. Cause like, what if those people never started working out and they, later on down the line, like, you're literally increasing years of life.
Yeah. Even like functional stuff, you probably know this, but like functional stuff like squatting, overhead stuff, like those are things you do in your daily life. And as you get older, they get harder. You're more prone to injury. So even lifting just helps with that, because you do all the functional movements like squats, deadlifts, learning how to pick something heavy off the floor without using your back. It's like everyday things that you like do. So I feel like that's like an important thing too.
Oh yeah. No, that's I love that. That you go out there and you say that like lift, like that's an important thing.
Yep.
Because I think that could get avoided or not talked about sometimes. So really glad you're addressing that.
Yeah.
So speak on your business a little bit, right? So has it been pretty consistent now? You've been in the game for over 6 years now. Like, is it pretty consistent? Do you ever have those months where it's like, oh shoot, I haven't booked anybody? Like, is it up and down, consistent? Like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, so I always struggle. I'm doing very well, thankfully. I have the most loyal clients ever. I have had clients who have stuck with me since I left the gym.
That's insane.
And they're very consistent. I have clients who are like, we're coming on our 4-year anniversary. And I'm like, yeah, we are. That's right. And I always too, like as a goal as a trainer, you want them to be able to like learn all of these things and then be able to do it on their own. But I also don't want my clients to be like one and done. Like I want to lose 20 pounds and then I'm done. And then that's it.
Because that doesn't solve the actual
issue. So I kind of like changed my mindset to that. But I thank God my, business is pretty stable. And I have like my clients to thank, because every time, like, let's say I have a spot open, I have a wait list, and I'm like, cool, because this person referred this person, and I have a wait list for this. And luckily I do have a wait list like for classes and all of that stuff. I don't really have to do like much advertisement, because my clients are great and they refer me to people. So even my evening classes, the reason why I started those was because I felt really bad because I was only doing one-on-one sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and there were a lot of people who were messaging me saying, "Oh, can I get in? Like,
And
how do you
there's
book?"
just not enough space.
And I couldn't. I was like, I can't. I don't have time. I'm only one person, and I don't.
What a good problem to have, though.
Yes, it's a good problem to have. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I'm like very lucky. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start a class, and I'm gonna book 10 people a class. That way, those of you who can't get in for one-on-one sessions, you can come at least for an hour, and we can still train together. And my clients too, like they're like, oh, you should, bring more people. But in my mind, I'm like, no, because 10 is the most that I can actively watch and give you that quality training
Yeah.
still without overloading the class. But yeah, if I could duplicate myself, it would be great because then I could do
Yeah,
more
what's your thoughts
stuff,
on that?
but
Like, what for the future? Like, are you thinking about maybe adding another trainer on, or
Yeah.
are you gonna expand or go into a gym? Like, what's your like? I don't know.
my goal.
Yeah.
Well, I do have an assistant. So her name is Jen. Shout out to Jen.
Shout
I'm
out.
doing all the shout out, guys.
Yeah, dude. This is a place to do it.
Yeah, she is awesome. She helps me with like my classes. And I'm kind of her mentor. So we're working on that to kind of help her get ready. So that way when I do open an independent contracting gym, that's the goal. No one steal my idea. I'm just kidding. But that's the goal.
No,
That's
I
the
can't.
goal.
You've already put in
I know, right? It's in the
the
universe.
blood, sweat, and tears into this thing.
I know, but independent contracting gym. That way I can help other people. Because like I said, I didn't have a space and it was very expensive and people helped me. So I want to make like this goal obtainable for other people. So
So that what that means, right, is just you get the space,
and
put
then they
the
rent it out.
equipment, and then they rent it out to have their own personal. Wow, that's a
Yes,
great
yeah.
idea.
So that's what I'm planning to do. And then obviously I want it to be low cost so that people could build their business. And because obviously I worked for a corporate gym, it's in my mind that I'm going to be like, this is set in stone. This is how much you pay. Any other income you make, that is yours. I'm not going to take that from you. That is your business. This is like the amount that's set in stone for whatnot.
Yeah.
But yes, the goal is an independent contracting gym, and still, be able to have my clients, but eventually retire maybe by like 40.
Yeah.
So I could
love
travel
that.
and stuff, but
Yes.
that's the goal.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, and you can see your trajectory is literally getting there. So,
Yeah.
man, I'm so excited to see that
I'm
that next
excited.
thing. And I really love too is that we need more good people in doing business. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing everything just from the true value and trying to help people. And this
Yeah.
too, you want to start that up, like to just help the trainers out there because you knew
Yeah.
what kind of like the hardships it was just
Yeah.
getting started. So I think
Yeah.
that's super admirable, and
Thank you.
you got to
thank
keep
you.
going.
Thank
gotta
you.
keep
I
going.
try. I had a business advisor too who would tell me, you need to start charging this, and this, and because this and everybody in the area and whatnot. And I'd be like, I don't want to do that because I don't feel like personal training should be luxurious. I feel like it should be obtainable. Like people need help and they don't have the knowledge. So why am I gonna like
You're making
make
it
that-
accessible. You're bringing
Yes, yeah.
you're bringing like state of the art kind of training down to
Yes.
like the regular people, which is
Yes.
so good. And yeah, when you get that gym and you start getting like real famous, then
I'll
maybe
be like, Kenny. I'll be like, this is my second time on this podcast, guys.
I know
have
we
some
come
updates.
back and we're coming back. You're doing the whole thing and just shades on.
like,
you got
"Don't
your Louis V 2 purses going on. Yeah, dude.
That's hilarious. But yeah, no. Hopefully, that is my goal. And speaking into the universe, it will happen, right? It will.
I love.
We don't
that.
say hope. We say it
No,
will.
we will. No,
We
you
will.
taught me that too before behind the scenes, guys. She's coaching me up. So she doesn't stop. The training doesn't stop. But as we're kind of winding down, Analise, I just want to ask these last questions. So what is your version of success?
My version of success. I think my version of success is being content, but also not being content. Does that make sense? So loving where you are, being happy with what you have, but always knowing that you can do more, but not letting it stress you out to the point where it becomes like part of a reason why you don't, pursue something. So for example, I love where I am. I love my clients. I love my space. Even when I was at my parents' house in the garage, I loved where I was. But I never felt like, oh, I need to change. I need to keep going. I need to surpass this. I need to do that. And I feel like if I had that attitude, it would be very draining and like bad for my mental health. So I loved where I was, but I still knew in my mind, but I'm going to grow and I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna do it the right way and I'm gonna do it how I want to do it and I'm gonna get there, but I'm not going to let it consume me.
I love that. So you just want to stay in that healthy space of being happy with your presence.
Yes.
But still hungry for more.
Yes. And I don't want to lose like sight. Like, for example, right now I work a lot, but I also know boundaries and I want to be able to spend time with my family. If my sisters are like, oh, let's go, like, let's eat dinner tonight, I'll be like, okay, I can make it at this time or whatever. Not like, no, I need to work until 10 o'clock in order to be successful and I'm not going to do this and I need to grind and I need to be up at 3 a.m. Like, I respect that for those who it works for. But for me, I want to be present and know that it's going to come and I'm still going to work hard to reach my goals. But I'm not going to let it consume me and not allow me to live where I am right now. Like, I want to be able to enjoy it.
Very, very powerful. Yeah, there's this quote that this guy named Ed Milet says. It's called blissfully dissatisfied is what it's called.
Yes, I love that.
So it's like he makes the example of like with the good steak. You know, you take the bite out of it and it's so good and tasty. You love that moment, but it's not taken away from the next bite that you want to eat.
Yes, yeah. Yep, so, I love that.
No, that's I think that is so, nobody's ever said that. I really like that answer. Yeah. Okay, the next one. What impact would you like to make on the world? This one's always a tough one. People get all like, they're like, yeah. Or if not, you know, just impact in general. Like what would you like to leave?
Impact. Normalcy. And the reason why I say that is because I am very much on social media and I do get a lot of comments on my videos of people saying like, thank you for like actually showing what you ate today. Because you could see a lot of people like, oh, I ate this and I ate this. And then they're like, trash, I actually ate this. And a lot of my content, I actually like show, yeah, I had hot Cheetos today, guys. I eat those a lot. Like, they're part of my diet, things like that. So I think the impact I want to leave, even with my clients, like when they come in and they're like, I had this to eat. I'm like, it's okay. Like, that's normal. You're human. I eat that too. Like, the normalcy of life and not all of the stuff that you see on social media. Yes, it's pretty. It's nice. And we like to see it. That's why people follow like all the organization and the nice, pretty things. But it's okay to be normal, like normalcy, and just show that. So that's
the real, just be real, right?
Yes, yeah, the real. And I sometimes it freaks me out too. I know, like, I post videos and I'll be working out and I'm like, why is my gut so big? And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm breathing. And I'm like, but how come that girl doesn't look like she's breathing? Like, I'll compare myself. Yeah. But then I'm like, no, because the whole point of why you're posting is to show people like it's normal to like look like this when you're breathing or when you're working out, or it's normal to eat these things or to drink soda. Like, I know soda's bad, but it's good and I drink it. I want people to know like it's okay, it's normal. Yeah. Like,
it's all about the balance. And that's the thing about fitness too. There's not only one way to do it. Like,
yes.
And that's what you're kind of bringing about.
Ways. Yeah, there's so many different ways.
Yeah. Okay, and then here's another one that's can throw you a little curveball here. Okay, what kind of advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
To not worry that you don't know like what you're doing at all. Because I was very worried. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a dance major. I don't know if that's gonna like get me where I need to be. I don't know if what I'm even going to school for. Like, should I go to school? Should I not go to school? Am I just doing this because like it's drilled in my mind that I have to go to school? But I would say it's okay to not know what you're doing and it's okay to not have it figured out. And also there are so many people who are literally like in your shoes. Like, you are not the only one. Everybody is in that position. And there's more people out there that like, are dealing with your struggle. I think that was a struggle of mine, that I'd be like, oh my gosh, am I the only one that doesn't know like what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
And what was one thing that helped you overcome that kind of worry?
I feel like my clients, and the reason why is because when I started, they're like my life. Like my job is
I do the way every time you talk about your clients, like your face changes. Like,
yes, I love them because we like not only do we train, but as we're training, we're talking and they're telling me something that happened with them, and I'm like, dude, that happened to me too, and I felt like this, and they're like, no, trust me, that's how it was for me. And so then when I would talk to them, I'd be like, oh, okay, it's not just me. Like, we're all living the same life. And like, obviously I talk to my sisters, but as sisters, when you're younger, you're like, oh God, I hate you. You wore my shirt today. I don't want to talk to you. Like, you don't really like, there's little things that keep you apart. Yeah. Now that we're older, we're much closer. But when she was still like in college and or in high school and I was in college or working at the gym, I would talk to my clients more about things in my life than I would her. So that's why I was like connecting with my clients, and then we would share stories. But now that we talk more because we're closer, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fine. Like, I did that too. Like, I didn't know how
Yeah.
to do that either. It's okay. Like, don't worry. Or she's like, I need to get health insurance. And I'm like, yeah, see, because you know.
I get that advice from her, and so it's like even better.
Yes, yeah, it's even better because I've already been there.
Yeah.
But I think that is what I would tell myself. Like, don't worry, everybody is struggling the same. And like I said, my clients, because I would tell them a story and they'd be like, oh yeah, that happened to me too. And I was doing this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, I feel better now. Like, because I'm not the only one like struggling with this. And sometimes it really is hard to know like there are other people who are dealing with
Yeah, because we get so
stuff.
stuck in our heads, right? Of just like
Yes,
thinking like
yes.
it's the end of the world for this little thing,
Yes.
but it's like,
why me?
yeah,
Yes,
but it's like
yeah.
a common thing that other people have probably
Yeah.
experienced too.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last thing, just like general to anyone who's just like looking to get into shape,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say, some good first steps to do, if they want to, just whatever, improve their body, be healthy?
Mm-hmm. I would say do what you like, not what you think is going to get you to where you want to be. Do what you like because you will more likely stick to it and you'll enjoy it and you'll want to do it long term if you actually do what you like. When I was starting to lose weight, I did Zumba because I liked it. It was fun. And that's what I stuck to and that's what helped me. But I would say don't feel the pressure of what you think needs to be done, like lifting weights. Oh, I need to do sprints because like this person did sprints. Do what you like. Start off slow. Don't feel pressure to do anything that someone else is doing and do what works for you and your lifestyle.
Wow.
Yep.
That is good. And I think on that note, we will send it off, Annalise. But thank you.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to an amazing pod.
Cheers.
You're a killer. This is
Thank
you said your
you.
first one. I don't believe it. No, but this is good. I think a lot of people are gonna they're gonna love this. So
I hope so.
well,
I did all my
signing out.
shout outs, so.
Oh yeah. Well, lastly, just say where they can find you and your socials and
Yes,
things
of
like
course.
that.
You can find me at Train with Analise on all of my socials, Instagram, Train with Analise, and TikTok, Train with Analise.
There we go.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Go do something you enjoy.
Go
That's
do
how
something you
start.
enjoy. Live your life. There you go. Yep. All right. That's a wrap.
Wow.
Was that
what
okay?
A pod. Oh my God, this is so good. It's so good.
Does he say that to everybody? I'm just kidding.
No, dude.